I have this mindset like, well, what do you treat the customer as? Are you treating the customers as guinea pigs? So you just have all these guesses, you build this prototype, and it hasn't been tested, and then just throw it raw to the customers. What if your customer have a bad experience and then they never come back again?
How do you make it at par when you want to do general availability for those particular features or products? The goal is not to get rid of testing completely. The goal is to use testing in a different way, not to get rid of customer feedback and qualitative feedback around it.
To the way you're building product in the past, are there anything change, anything dramatic that you feel like, man, we're building product completely different, or you feel like it's pretty much the same, just faster? Or are there things you feel like, oh, things are so changed so much? Welcome to US Stories. I'm your host, Lihong Hicken. I've spent my career obsessed with how we understand what users actually think. When Chris and I helped scale UserTesting.com from zero to IPO, we thought we had it figured out, but AI has changed everything. The speed of building is now 10 times faster than the speed of listening. So Chris and I built TheySaid. We want to use vibe testing to match the speed of vibe coding. I'm here to talk to builders who want to ship products the users love. Today, I'm joined by Arvind Duhan. And Arvind, we want to know about your story, how you joined the universe of product building and the universe of the US. Tell us, who are you as a product builder and what are you working on now, and share your story.
First of all, thank you, Lihong, for having me today. I'm Arvind. I'm a product professional who has more than 12 years of experience working across different industries. My passion from product management comes from how we solve problems with technology. And I believe, first and foremost, if we look at problems from first principles and use the right technology to power a solution, we can solve it. So every problem is a problem unless you solve it at scale. And that's true for all the industries. It does not matter you work across deep tech, financial technology, logistics, education technology. The same hypothesis kind of tests out over time when you apply it. And that's my passion. I love building products which are really close to customers in terms of the problems that they solve, in terms of how easily that problem becomes just a workflow or just an automation for them if it's solved in the right way. So that's where my passion from product has led me to here in the US. And currently, I'm leading a product team at a last mile logistics company, and our goal is to basically revolutionize the logistics industry using it.
That's cool. So tell me a little bit about like the way you're building product today compared to the way you're building product in the past. Are there anything change, anything dramatic that you feel like, man, we're building product completely different, or you feel like it's pretty much the same, just faster? Or, are there things you feel like, oh, things are so changed so much, I have to constantly unlearn things, I had to start from scratch?
Absolutely. I think it's a no-brainer, and it's the elephant in the room that we should address, how software engineering and how building software products has changed over time. And the primary driver or the culprit is AI. 5 years ago, the software development lifecycle looked comparatively different and static. But today, it's been completely turned upside down. If you look at it right from understanding a customer problem or understanding a customer need to actually rolling out a product and everything that happens in between, building a product, testing it, how fast you prototype, how deep you solve first, or how your go-to-market and depends on your faster prototyping. All of that has changed. So I've been at the center of, or I've seen that change across big organizations, smaller organizations. Talking a little bit about each phase or each step in the product development lifecycle. First, with how do we interact with the customer, how you bring customer closer to your solutions, that has completely changed. Earlier, it used to be mainly CRM based or survey based, user testing based, but today it has become so easy to collate all that information together, bring all the different bits and pieces of your customer contact, and be it your usage data, be it your customer survey data, be it your conversations with your customer success teams, be it your conversations with sales team in prospects and pipelines. It has become so easy to kind of bring all of those touch points together. And be really close to what your consumer wants. That's a good thing, but it also puts pressure on organizations, especially SaaS companies, that you have to build a solution that really solves the customer problem at its core. That has fundamentally changed, and I've seen it very closely the way it has evolved. The next is around how do we define solutions from a product management perspective, including designing of those solutions. In order to have a very well thought of product solution, it used to be that you need to brainstorm, think about a solution, look at it from an end to end, maybe before even developing it, do a user testing through mockups and do some user surveys before you start a big idea.
Yeah.
Now it's completely flipped upside down. You don't need to do all of that. Just build fast, prototype, and just give it out to the customers. Now usage becomes the feedback.
Huh.
Similarly,
Interesting. Okay. Tell me more.
right, so the actual usage starts becoming your customer feedback. You don't need to extensively think about how customers would react, because even before developing a customer, you're providing a solution that the customer help you in building step by step, because you're iterating so fast and you're consuming customer feedback at such a level that they become your partners in developing software really fast. So if you have a bunch of beta customers who have the appetite of adopting new features, new technology, you just roll out to them and don't worry about, oh, there would be a lag in feedback, how would the market respond? It just continuous development with customer support and at a very fast pace.
So this Arvind, you just unpack so much information. So I've probably talked to a lot of the guests who I call them the old school builders, right? The way, us older people build is like we have a hypothesis, we build up prototypes, we get usability testing, put this prototype in front of a potential customers and existing customer, get feedback, and then we build it out. But the problem is the speed is so slow, it can't catch up with the speed of vibe coding. And then I have a hypothesis: the modern product builders, the vibe coders, they don't do it this way because the speed of building is so fast. They were just like, well, I have a hypothesis, I will, based on a bunch of analytic and users feedback, I will guess based on this feedback and this customer data to infer these hypotheses. If I guess it wrong, I will just rip it apart and build it again, right? This is my hypothesis, and then it kind of confirmed to me this is what's happening, because you kind of using this data to make educated guess. Like, you're not doing user testing because this is too slow. You're just gonna, put it out loud there and observe what users gonna do. Is that what's happening right now?
In a way, absolutely yes, because what AI has fundamentally done is AI has sped up development by like 10x, 20x. It depends on what you're building, how deep you're building. So it's sped up development time. Also, it gives a lot of leeway that we build fast, we fail much faster, and
That's
we
right.
do even faster. So if you think about, if you want to tie the same thread back to how we used to do things like 5 years ago, from overall a framework perspective, we're still in that agile form, but it's hyper agile. You compress the different steps of hypothesizing something and getting the right data, getting the right signs for that hypothesis, and then taking a decision. Now you take a decision first. You have some conviction, take a decision first, move to market really fast. If not like general availability, at least go to the beta stage really fast.
Yeah.
Doing that, you start getting invaluable feedback that used to take almost an year, 5 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I this just, it's kind of hard for me to wrap my head again. Before we have this, like, build a prototype and test it before waste engineering effort in building the product, right? But now it's like engineering resources is no longer the resource that you need to protect because you can build it so fast. But then I have this mindset like, well, what do you treat the customer as? Are you treating the customers as a guinea pig? So you just have all these guesses. You build this prototype and it hasn't been tested, and then just throw it raw to the customers. What if your customer have a bad experience and then they never come back again?
Absolutely. So the goal is not just take a bet right away without having some directional conviction on. You don't partner with any other customer. Every business, every vertical has these early adopters who have the appetite to jump on the bandwagon with you when the industry is going through a disruption. Similarly, pick those customers first. Identifying the right partners, the right champions in your quest to build software faster is one of the key factors in how you will be successful in this strategy of moving really fast and building prototypes first. So when you've identified the right customers, we treat them as partners, guinea pigs. So most of the times, the customers know what their problem is, but they may not know what the right solution for them would be.
That's right. That's why I agree. Like you ask the customer for their pain points and their problem is, but the solution part will be come up with entrepreneurs. I agree with you on this. I just have a problem with like it's a little bit extreme on like not doing any usability testing at all because the surveys or any product features will tell you what is wrong, but you don't know why it is wrong. And sometimes like you can't take the customer's word for it because sometimes I'll watch usability testing and they tell me, yeah, this feature is really easy. I love this. I'm just saying, no, I'm watching you. You're struggling. You did it wrong. Like, I'm not saying you're lying in my face. You didn't know, like, I can see it happening in my face. So like without really deeply understanding what's going on, it's just really dangerous for building around people. You're just making a mistake. I mean, this is why I'm seeing like right now there's so many product out there. If you look at the product hunt, thousands of product hunting, product launch every day, and just there's just more and more crappy product out there. And maybe us old school builders was like, we want to build quality product out there that users delighted. So is there a third option there where we can test quickly? Like, sure, there's a vibe coding. Can we do a vibe testing? We can test quickly. Doesn't sacrifice the speed, test quickly. And then also, it's like something in the middle, right? You can test quick, get quick feedback, doesn't sacrifice the speed, also doing testing. I want to understand from your perspective, Arvind, why do you guys give up on testing all along? Is it because testing is way too slow, or is it because it's too expensive? What's the reason there to completely give it up?
First of all, my argument is not to give up testing. My argument is to use testing in a different way. So there are multiple ways you can test. You can test by showing off a low fidelity prototype to the customer, just trying to understand what's the customer journey in solving a particular problem is, and how do you scale it, how do you make it at par when you want to do general availability for those particular features or products. The goal is not to get rid of testing completely. The goal is to use testing in a different way, not to get rid of customer feedback and qualitative feedback around it. So that like, the customer is saying this, I love this feature, but you can clearly see that the customer is struggling with it. The idea is not to overlook those signals. The idea is to merge different feedback streams into one common place, but still move faster. Example, what we have done over the years, a strategy that I've used is we collate all the touch points of different functional teams with the customer and do an in-house analysis of where do we think the conviction is when we're trying to solve a particular problem. That gets us out of this like customer noise sometimes when we don't extensively test it. So we're testing, but we're testing in a different way that helps us move faster. And that's currently seen in a lot of CRM or a lot of products that are being built for user testing, for user surveys. Earlier, crafting and creating a user survey itself was a challenge. But nowadays, it's much simpler, much faster, much more effective. So I'm not saying we're trying to get rid of testing. We do test, but we do test it differently. It's more like a parallel stream or a parallel process that we do while building and asking the
While
customer.
building, yeah. I see a lot of teams do like they use tools like Lovable or V0, so they can come up with some concept or idea. Like don't spend too much of time on the look and feel design. Like use AI to come up with the thing, and then they are also not like a wireframe, whatever. Like they're also very good at clickable and carry your idea, and then get the concept very quickly and improve and come back and do a second round. I'm just saying like So when I was a, you know, early employee at UserTesting.com, I know we were doing testing for the company called Instagram. And, Instagram got acquired by Facebook for over $1 million, and they were 11 employees. I was not surprised at all because the team does religious usability testing 2 times a day. They will do a morning round with some, at first it was just some ugly as shit, like wireframe, at that time there was no digital wireframe, it was like, scratches, right? And then they get the feedback and they will come back. I know they go for lunch. They live in Palo Alto. We were down the street and they get some feedback and then they improve. At 2 p.m. They launch the improved version, and then they improve on that. Second morning, launch another one, and then 2 p.m. they launch another one. Every day they just improve on feedback. It's like how fast they can improve on their version and just keep rapidly improve on the version. Incremental improve doesn't feel like a lot, but they keep doing every single day just on that. And then finally when they launched, it was a huge success because the user loved using it. It was freaking addictive to use that little thing. So that's why I feel like I think the climate is different now. So back then at usertesting.com, the tests, it was $19.99 per test. Anyone have a dream, have an idea, have a hypothesis, you can order a test. You can test your hypothesis. You can have an idea test with your target audience. But now, if you see here like testing.com, users Zoom, what users do interview are bought by private equity firms. And everything is unaffordable. Unless you have a 30K budget per year, you can't afford to do it, right? You can't order anything test. So like, now, if you are a startup funder or you are in a small business, you just can't afford to do it. So like the new generation of vibe coders, funders, like they didn't grow up in an era where cost of curiosity is not affordable, and they just like, I'm used to grow up where I don't do usability testing. So I'm just used to be building fast and based on the information I have available on surveys and user feedback data and do it. But I can tell you the power of usability testing is incredible. Being able to watch your users do and think. I have one of my guests come on to the show and they tell me he built a torture. I love the story where the torture room is for the product builder, not for the guest, the customer. It's like, it's a one-way mirror where the product builders, the designers, the executives can go in and then watch their product being used by the customers, and the customers not being able to use it or don't understand the messaging or what's going on. And the executives will drive to see the torture room, and then the room is fully booked by everyone, and he couldn't find a spot in the torture room. Everyone was like watching. Oh my goodness. So it's like there's a lot of value in this. I feel sad as like entrepreneur, like there's a whole generation of builders that don't have the luxury to get the benefit, right? It's like, I hate it when private equity firm bought all the plumbers firms in my, then now like when my toilet is broken, like I call everyone offer the same price. Like, it's like, I don't know what happened to your neighborhood, but that's happening to my neighborhood too. It's like, your toilet shouldn't break. Like, it's wrong. It shouldn't be like this, right? So that's why Chris and I are bringing TheySaid back, and we want to bring back the cost of curiosity cheaper again. And like, we should enjoy being able to build the right thing for the right people at a fraction of the cost. So that being said, are there any story or user story where you feel like any most content interactive lesson you would learn from your user that you feel like it was unexpected, like where you think this would be something, and then learning from your user, you feel like, oh, that's totally unexpected, but totally makes sense?
Yeah, I have a bunch of them, but that's a good question that puts me in a tough spot which one to pick for. But I just want to take a little step back on how the user testing became really unaffordable. But that's the disruption that AI is bringing to the space. Does not matter if user testing is maybe cost $30,000 to run a full-blown user test and have the same results. We can do it in a very fidgety or in a very not very well grounded way, but you can get similar results, and that helps you experiment with what you're trying to do. And that's the disruption an eSaaS product is going through. You took the example of user testing. It was acquired by private equity. Everything was productized, put into the pricing became out of reach of early start. And that's absolutely what AI is disrupting right now. The seat-based pricing system of all SaaS-based models is at risk. The net revenue retention is a problem because you cannot just grow seats. Land and expand model, it's actually in trouble. Whatever you land, you may not be able to expand it based on just giving more seats, because now the ability that you give one seat a person is like 10 times than what it used to be, because the features that AI brings in and the efficiency that AI brings in. So that's the problem.
Yeah.
I hope you align with me on that. To your other question, where from a customer, something that totally put me in a situation where I felt, oh, this is absolutely right, but the way they're saying does not make sense. At the end of the day, I truly believe that there are layers to the customer's mindset, the customer's problems, and the solutions they seek. And when we were trying to peel off those layers, maybe step by step, persona by persona, use case by use case, that's where a product builder has to come up front and match those layers. And when there is some level of resonance across those layers, that's when you need to catch those signals and basically build on top of it. That's where you get that conviction from. So being really close to the customer helps a lot in building products that the customers really love using and solves the problems at scale. So one of my examples is one of my customers was asking, is this an example from a logistics industry? So one of my customers have been asking about a conversational agent to kind of work around their customer conversations, reduce their customer support calls, reduce any problems in their entire delivery process. But their focus was mainly, oh, we're getting these customer calls. Can we have a feature around building an AI agent? And we were in the process of building an AI agent. And it was initially difficult to tell the customer that you don't need the AI agent for only customer support call. You need the AI agent for something that's totally opposite of what you're looking for. And then we did some prototype testing with them. And then the customer really realized that, okay, if we do the AI agent just for the conversation, just for customer support, it's not going to have the ROI. Obviously, the leadership can talk about that, oh, they're adopting AI, but just does not have the right ROI for the business. But when you showed them the actual use case in which the AI agents will have some ROI, we were able to understand and align the customer need in a way that was delightful for them as well.
So you're saying like the users also have a self-discovery process to realize their needs. Sometimes they don't know what they want until, for like, when you work with them, they're like, oh, that's actually what I really needed.
Yes, it's just discovery. When you're trying to move fast, basically have to take the customer with you. Similarly, customer is trying to seek a solution really fast. They need to put their trust in the builder and unpack their layers, unpack their problems, and just let the builder know what the actual problem. They should be open to having a discussion around, oh, this is not a problem, but this other thing seems like a more urgent problem to solve, and it makes more sense from an operational, from a financial unit cost perspective, what we are trying to.
That's cool. That's great. That's really insightful. Let's go into our like a rapid fire question. So you mentioned there are some AI tool stack you can use to disrupt the user testing private equity world. So I'm curious, what's your current user testing stack look like, and what's working and what's not working across the different ventures you're working in?
For us, we're in early stages of making that transition where we do this. We kind of, rather than building first, we prototype first. Our tech stack is mainly Cursor. We do some Lovable. We do Figma Make. We have some in-house stuff built in to kind of bring in all the different touch points with the customer together and use that as a knowledge base. Do the customer analysis at base. So all of this combined together helps us move faster. And so basically, we kind of built a custom pipeline for ourselves where we understand that this is a list of which one on a frequency and severity index, which one comes like the top 4 or 5 problems. We just iterate on it fast, capture all the insights across all the different touch points, and
Mhm.
then bring it back together to see what kind of impact are we having if we build this or if we deploy it, this feature into production. So not just from a vision perspective, but from a small feature perspective, we've been able to use the co-pilots, the AI coding assistants, design coding assistants, Figma. We use a bunch of these tools together to kind of have this pipeline where kind of iterate fast, build prototypes, and do some level of user testing or usability.
Okay. So it sounds like your tech stack is very typical vibe coding process, like a Lovable, Figma Make, but there's no usability testing tech stack. Are you getting user feedback by manually talking to the users, or currently you just look at product usage feedback and kind of infer maybe they will have that feedback?
So
It's okay.
it's a mix of many things. We don't use a dedicated user testing tool.
Tool. Okay.
We just we use our own product analytics along with different touch points. For instance, what the sales team is having conversations with.
Oh, indirect conversations with the users, like sales conversations and product usage feedback. Okay.
Product
Got it.
usage feedback, sales conversations, customer support tickets, customer support conversations, customer success conversations, and even
Okay.
conversations with customers. So we're bringing all these like different small touch points here and there,
Okay.
strategy perspective, and we have our own custom built pipeline of understanding what the customer feels like. Do we have conviction in this particular direction? And then, and as we start seeing signals, we just iterate on it fast and just move to the market really fast.
Yeah, totally, totally. How do you ensure the user feedback actually influence your roadmap rather than just getting filed?
The idea is it's not just that we move fast, we also prioritize fast. So overall, we moved to a place where we have a longer term roadmap. We know what we want to achieve, maybe in a year or maybe in 2 quarters. We know that, but we kind of keep what goes into achieving all of that a little bit more flexible. So earlier, there have been frameworks where we prioritized up what we wanted to push out because of XYZ business outcomes or XYZ customer problems that that are of high importance. But that has also changed. So our roadmap has become a little bit more fluid because we have now the ability to move faster, test things out more faster, get customer feedback faster. So the direction stays the same, but the different mechanics or the tactical levers that you pull to achieve that direction from a product perspective, from a business perspective, that has changed a lot. So
Cool.
it's still bounded by what we want to achieve, but it's not like a freak train that's out of control. We can move fast. It's still a very well structured endeavor, but it has given us the freedom to kind of build products in a way that gives us a lot of flexibility to move things around, but still be able to achieve what we set out to achieve before time back.
That's great. So given your like fast building cycle and then your informal feedback collection through like customer calls and product usage feedback, are they a place for usability testing, even an AI version of usability testing to add value in your current product building cycle?
Yeah, definitely. If there is a product that fulfills all the criteria that we do, or as a matter of fact, any other enterprise company or any other B2C company has, there is definitely a lot of value. But the point is, again, what's the cost? What's the affordability? How much resources, how much process do I need to put in there? How much restrictions does this? It's like any other enterprise product. And
Right.
the more enterprise like SaaS sprawl is real. Like nobody talks about it.
Yeah, tell me the wish, if you have a wish list and you can design this AI usability testing tool with like magic wand, like tell me what it look like, because I feel like you represent a lot of fast moving vibe builder like voice, like, what should we have to build? Like magical product that meets all the needs and budget type. Like it's time. Tell us, what should it look like?
So actually, I was talking to another founder in the AI space a couple of weeks back, and we were having this conversation around what can AI agents do. If I were to like let my imagination run wild and imagine a user testing product, it'll be a very well-trained AI agent that takes the persona of your customers and just runs wild across your product.
Oh.
The need to wait for the customer to give your quantitative feedback that is gone. And now you just need to talk to the customer in terms of having those conversations, even if it's a dedicated feedback stream, or if they're isolated or decentralized touch points, you can collate all of them together and build it into your own custom system. Every company does not do user testing the same way.
That's right. That's right.
Every industry, every customer moves different.
Yeah.
The need to have a lot of flexibility. If I were to imagine a product, it just gives you quantitative feedback using automation technology, and then you can pull in all your qualitative feedback in together and to just
So,
have a good.
so if I summarize it, you want a feedback from an AI agent, not from your real customer, but this AI agent have the persona of your real customer. Is that right?
Part of it is right, but again, it's like it solves only 50% of my problem, but that 50% will give me a huge advantage. All the customers don't give you the same type of feedback. There is an inherent bias, the emic bias in collecting feedback, collecting survey data, qualitative data, the server bias, the observant bias. A lot of stuff goes into it, but if there is something that can help us understand what is the quantitative data will look like if a real customer is going to test it for 2 months, 3 months, and if I can have that in a day or two, that'll help me really speed up that process so that I can be more prepared when I start doing the qualitative feedback with the customer.
What does the 100% solution look like for you?
I don't think there is a 100% solution, and that's the beauty of it. You got to keep it open-ended, because even if the problem is the same, every human being, every customer, they approach it a little bit differently, and we can only standardize it up to a certain extent. There is no 100% solution, a generic solution. There will be bottlenecks here and there, but at the end of the day, we need to make it a little bit more flexible so that you can tweak things. I mean, if there is a solution out there, the one which has more configurability, more personalization towards a specific business needs, that solution is going to be.
So how about this? So here's our vision. What we currently do is we use AI as a moderator to guide your existing customer or your potential customer through different tasks on your prototype on your website, record their voice and screen on them using your product. So you can observe and hear their thoughts about using your product and your prototype. And AI is going to analyze all your video recordings and give you tips and suggestions on how to improve your product. And that can be done within the same hour. So imagine you logging into your dashboard, you can say, here's 20 videos of your existing customer using your product. And we recruit these customers through your websites, your product. And here's a suggestion on how to improve your prototype and your existing product. And you just improve on that. Sometimes you can recruit them through our panelists, sometimes through your existing customers. And then once you have enough volume, we can use that data to build out persona for your AI testers. So let's say you have persona A, persona B, persona C, and they look like different. Then you use the existing, your own customer's behavior to build out AI persona. So let's say you can't wait an hour or 2 hours. You want it now. So you use the information. So you use your real user's behavior to train a AI replica of the customer and say, now run it under 5 minutes. I want this result now. So the AI version of your customer can get the result in 5 minutes and say, now this AI version will probably get it about 80% close to what your real customer is doing. So it depends on how close you want it to be. If you want it 100%, this is your real customer. You got to wait about 1 or 2 hours. If you want to be 80% close, this is your AI version of your customer, which is continually feeded by the real data by your real customer's behavior. Is that close to what you are looking for or not?
Yeah, absolutely. That's almost, you summarized whatever I said very beautifully. The idea is, if you
How
want,
much?
how much?
Okay. It's
Then
somewhere between $99 per month to $4.99 per month.
I would say it's a very sweet spot in between, anywhere 99 per month to 499 per month. It totally depends on what kind of a problem that we're trying to solve. if it has the potential to kind of, let's say that there is a software company who's not able to understand what do they want to build for the customers, and that's your entire pipeline. That's like your top of the funnel for your product and engineering teams, and you're not able to understand what do you want to build. How would you be able to achieve your business goals? How would you be able to tie your business goals to your product goals, and vice versa? If that is the problem, even 499 is nothing. Just
That's
on.
right. If it work, right? If it work, it help do it. It's basically volume based, right? It depends on how frequently you want to do the test. So,
If it's a B2C product, you would want to test more extensive. If it's an enterprise product, you may not want to test extensively. But again, the need kind of changes. Like B2C is more volume driven, B2B is more value driven. I'm not saying like B2C doesn't deliver value, and value is prime
right.
as well. But at the end of the day, it's value that brings in more sticky business with very less churn, longer term contracts, more predictable revenue in the B2B space when you do value. So may not be volume, but the right depth of customer understanding, right depth of customer pain points, right understanding, collating everything together, and just being very end to end concise about those. Like we shouldn't be looking at the law of averages saying, oh, this is, if there is an outlier that was missed in one of the surveys or user testing, it might crop up in maybe 100 others if you're doing surveys or user testing the volume. So the law of kind of averages is not something that is preferable when it comes to B2B user testing. You need to be really,
That's
really.
right. Yeah, totally. Thank you for your honest take on this. We have like very honest conversation about what it take for the vibe coders, vibe testing teams, vibe builders to, start doing usability testing, get feedback rapidly along the building cycle. So if you guys who are listening interested in getting fast feedback, they said the IO is a place where you can sign up a free account to do some free AI usability testing. Thank you, Arvind. Thank you for your time.